Yes, and you're waking up with Damo here on 4WK on this Tuesday morning, and around about this time, we always like to do our local history segment with Harold Peacock from History Out There. And this morning, believe it or not, he's joining us all the way from Kuranda. How are you, mate?
Yes, good morning, Damo. Yeah, I'm up here, Kuranda, getting on the train because I'll research anything for a good story about Toowoomba for you. You know that.
I know you will, mate, and we're keeping it in that train vein, pardon the pun, because we're looking at the fact that, there's a historical propensity for Toowoomba people to fall off trains.
Yeah, that's right, and that's why I'm up here in Kuranda, because on a Sunday afternoon in 1947, a young girl was found by the railway on the Kuranda Range in far north Queensland. She was unable to recall her name, where she lived, or how she even got there. But police found that her description was identical to that of a girl who had left the Cairns Railway Hotel for a train ride up the range. And her name was Betty Dorrington from Toowoomba. And she'd fallen off the train as it rounded a corner.
Oh.
Now, looking into Betty, well, her father Arthur and her uncle Oscar had got into some trouble with Toowoomba police. You see, Uncle Oscar got fined £10 for an unlicensed revolver, but claimed he took the gun away from his brother for his own protection, gave him a hiding for it, and this was all the thanks he got. But anyway, while I was researching Betty falling off the Kuranda train, I discovered that it wasn't only her tank that tumbled, but Toowoomba people have been falling off trains for years.
Oh.
In 1898, Toowoomba's Dr. William Armstrong, he was the number one doctor on the very first Queensland Medical Register. He fell off a train from Toowoomba as it was rounding a bend near Spring Bluff. Now, this train falling thing could happen to anyone because Dr. Armstrong's son was a Speaker of Queensland Parliament, a grandson was the 5th Baron Huntington and the first Australian-born governor of any state, and a great-grandson was a Lord Mayor of London, so it can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in 1914, Susan Croton, who was living at the Old Forest Inn Hotel in Toowoomba, she fell off the Toowoomba to Brisbane train near Helidon. Now, her father and grandfather were bailiffs of the Toowoomba court. The train stopped, picked her up, and put her in first class for the rest of the trip. That's one way to get up the front of the train.
Yeah.
Yeah, in 1923, 11-year-old Charles Turek was on his way back to school at Scots College in Warwick when he fell off the train between Walsall and Goodna. His sister didn't even miss him. Young Charles got up and just simply walked to the next station. Now, his family had a survival streak because come the Second World War, Charles's brother would survive for 3.5 years in a Japanese POW camp at Changi.
Right.
Now, in 1926, a young man fell off the Toowoomba to Ipswich train on his way to watch a football match. The train stopped, and his friends were delighted when they found him because they could continue to the game. And then someone else fell off the train on the way back to Toowoomba after the match. In 1930, John Nicholson, he was a Toowoomba piano tuner. He was making himself comfortable against the door of the Toowoomba train when it flew open, and he too fell out. Now, they found him near Brinsop siding. He reboarded the train and continued his journey to Charlottesville. So it's sort of, oh yeah, we'll get on with it. And then in 1939, Mr. H.E. Wilson, he was the chairman of the Toowoomba Fire Brigade Board. He fell off the train between Channing and Yaluba. The train stopped, picked him up, and continued on to Miles. You see, that's the thing. So many people were falling off trains that it just became normal. The train stopped, picked them up, and continued on their way. Now, even just the realisation of going to Toowoomba seemed to get people falling off, because in 1912, a Mr. Watkins from Toowong in Brisbane, he caught the Brisbane to Toowoomba train. He fell off as it rounded a bend just after Toowong. They went back, found him, but he simply dusted himself off and proceeded to walk home. The train he was on wasn't even due to stop at Toowong, so I guess he must have fallen off when he saw his house. But, so, look, the initial mystery of Toowoomba's Betty Dorrington falling off the train up here at Kuranda led me to a whole new world of train falling, which Toowoomba people have been doing for years. But I can assure you, Damo, I will not be falling off the Kuranda train today as I'm researching that. And when that 1914 train is on the main track in Toowoomba, hey, hold on tight, because there is a bit of a reputation that Toowoomba people want to get rid of.
Exactly, and you don't want to do the Kuranda one because I've seen pictures of that big high bridge. That's a long drop.
It's a long way to fall, but they get some good pictures on the way down, I suppose.
Well, probably. I just can't believe the amount of people that have actually fallen off trains.
And I should note that no one was seriously hurt in the telling of today's story, because everyone I told about got up and continued on. There was no one badly injured or certainly not killed in today's story. So,
well, there you go.
Good story in the end.
It certainly is, mate. Another classic one, and of course we'll be able to read that on your website, which you'll post that up in the next day or so.
That's right. Go to historyouthere.com. This and all the Darling Downs Grant Belt stories that I've done for you are online there for you anytime.
Fantastic, mate. Always appreciate it. You enjoy your time up there in Kuranda. It's a beautiful spot in the world, isn't it?
It is. It's all research. I'm looking for the next Toowoomba story.
Well, there you go. And just make sure you hang on tight when you go around those bends.
Certainly will. You too.
Thanks so much, mate. There he is, Harold Peacock, joining us from historyouthere.com. Check out the website. Always some great yarns there as well. And it's bringing our history alive right here on 4WK.